Were there free black people? Have you ever wondered about the lives of free black people during the American Civil War? This topic is rich with history and reveals a lot about the social dynamics of the time. Yes, there were indeed free black individuals during this period. Some were born free, while others gained their freedom through manumission, which is when a slave owner legally frees their slaves. Free black people lived in both the North and the South, but their experiences were quite different depending on where they were. In the South, life was particularly challenging. Free blacks faced severe restrictions and discrimination. They were not allowed to vote or hold public office. They could not testify against white individuals in court, which left them vulnerable in legal situations. To prove their free status, many were required to carry documentation. This constant need for proof meant they lived under the threat of being mistaken for enslaved individuals. The Confederate authorities were especially wary of free blacks during the Civil War. They feared that these individuals might assist the Union. As a result, free blacks in Confederate states often faced harassment and violence. Despite these hardships, many free blacks in the South contributed to the Union cause. They worked as laborers, guides, cooks, and teamsters. Some even took on the role of soldiers, fighting for their freedom and the freedom of others. They also played a vital part in helping enslaved people escape to Union lines and aiding Union prisoners and Confederate deserters. In contrast, free blacks in the North generally enjoyed more rights and opportunities. They could own property and run businesses. In some areas, they even had the right to vote and serve on juries. Free blacks were active in their communities, founding churches and organizations that became centers of African American life. They were vocal critics of slavery and worked hard for abolition. Interestingly, some free blacks even owned slaves themselves, often family members whom they later freed. During the Civil War, free black men served in the Union Army and Navy. By the end of the war, around 179,000 black men had served in the United States Army, making up about 10% of the Union forces. An additional 19,000 served in the Navy. They took on various roles, from combat positions to medical support and intelligence work. Although black women were not formally enlisted, they made significant contributions as nurses, spies, and scouts. In the context of Southern plantation life during the Civil War, free blacks occupied a unique position. They were distinct from the enslaved population but lived in a society heavily influenced by slavery. Their freedoms were limited, and they often faced suspicion from Confederate authorities. Nevertheless, their presence and actions during the war demonstrated resistance to slavery and contributed to the Union's efforts. So, yes, free black people existed during the Civil War era. Their lives were shaped by the laws and attitudes of their regions. They played important roles in their communities and in the broader conflict of the Civil War, both as civilians and as military participants.